Hi, everybody. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where we watch old 16mm films. And today, we are at the Film Vault. Ta-da! Ta-da! And so I'm going to give you a quick tour. There's Ayana.
Hello.
Who is diligently shelving films, of which we got a bunch. We have some here that are not shelved. Let's see what else. Ones here that aren't shelved. We have to actually sort them, and then go down this aisle. So this is chugging along very slowly but surely. We're going from a less organized space to a more organized space. So that is our plan. About a month ago, somebody asked me, it's like, hey, I found this, there was this film I remember, it's bouncing around in my head, and it kind of is about a nickel or a dime, and we kind of follow its life. I was like, oh yeah, that's the dime. Well, I found a copy of it, and here it is. Enjoy.
That's 355, 65, 75, 4, and 1 is 5. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, you're finished
I
now.
really enjoy coming here, you know?
And I enjoyed doing your nails.
Yeah, well, I really missed it last week. The children were sick, and 10 o'clock next week.
Good. That's a good time. I'll walk you out. Oh, that's okay.
Hi, Bill. I want a hero.
Time.
Good afternoon. Here's my deposit.
Thank you.
Can I have all dimes, please? They're for my wife. She's a coin collector.
Is that all?
I think I'll do it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I don't think I want to use this one. You want it, Tori?
All I have is a dime. I have a nickel. I want Maltines. I want these. I want those. Since it's your dime, okay. Or we can share them.
$1.37, $1.40, $1.50. Thank you. Have a nice day. How are your grandchildren?
Fine, thank you.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Ice cream, peanuts, cold. Butterfingers. Oh no! I can't see it, can you? Here, I'll try to get it. No, I can't get it. You try. I can't get it. Oh dear. Oh well. It's useless. Come on.
So that was great. I like non-narrative films like that. There's another film called Marble, where this little kid chases his marble, and it's more off the rails. It's Dutch, and it has an amazing prog rock soundtrack to it. And then I guess there was a feature film featuring like a $20 bill or something like that, that kind of followed the story of where that $20 bill went to. All right. This film is interesting. It's I watched just a little bit of the beginning of it to see that it was religious films distributed as a religious film, but I haven't watched enough for me to figure out if it was a religious film. So this is called The Unseen Power. Enjoy.
England's green and pleasant land. And not much more than 100 years ago, it was a green and pleasant land where men lived and worked within sight and sound of the wonders of nature. Most of us at some time in our lives have looked back to that time when the face of Britain was beautiful and the natural products of the soil were harvested so that man might eat and live. Most of us have longed for a return of that unhurried age, when in the quiet village Houses and cottages stood, each in its garden, in groups round the church. In those villages, most men lived and died with little thought outside the life of their self-contained community, loving and knowing only the things that belonged to the soil, which was their livelihood. Exchange of goods, exchange of knowledge, exchange of talk made a market town the center of business and social life. Products of the soil were exchanged for products of the town, and beneath the cathedral spreads out a maze of streets, alleys, and open markets. But the inhabitants of these towns were near to the sunlight, to the fields and rivers. The works of men did not cut them off entirely from the works of God. But under this lovely face of Britain, in 6 great regions, there lies coal. Coal transformed the face of Britain and the life of its people, for coal meant steam, and steam meant power to drive the wheels of industry. So a new kind of work began in certain places, different from the work of the fields and country towns, and the face of the land was disfigured. Here the sun was hidden behind the smoke clouds of furnace and factory. And because industry develops where it can get power, the 6 coal fields of Britain became the new centers of activity and expansion. Now, instead of rural sounds and the song of the birds, men heard the rhythm of the machines. In these centers, industry was developed as fast as man could build and work. There grew up a teeming population of factory and mine workers. There grew up huge centers of manufacture and countless small buildings to house the servants of the new industries. Meadow and field were blotched with giant tips for slag. In factories, mills, foundries, forges, smithies, mines, and workshops, the machine prospered and took charge of man. The power of steam and coal dominated the land. The industrial age gave Britain wealth and power. It gave the population as a whole an increase of material and intellectual prosperity. But it produced a congestion of slums and factories where the spiritual side of man had to struggle against great odds to grow and develop. Away from the centers of industry, in the mountains of the north, in pool and stream, in waterfall and lake, the source of a new power was waiting. and scientific discovery was ready for the revelation of electricity. Here was the driving power of a new age. Here, too, was the opportunity of reconstruction and renewal. A nationwide plan is devised to carry power and light into the furthest corners of the land. Lakes are dammed to make giant reservoirs of energy. Waterfalls are harnessed, rivers diverted along man-made channels, tunnels are bored, and aqueducts constructed so that turbines may turn to create the new driving force, the new and unseen power. Huge quantities of this energy can be controlled by one man, and the works that go to its making harmonize with the countryside. From major points, the power is controlled, transferred from one part of the country to another, so that the needs of industry, agriculture, and the home may be kept supplied. The unseen power is distributed over the countryside, to the north, south, east, and west, by cables carried on pylons. There is nothing active to be seen, but it is a living load that these pylons carry over mountains, fields, and rivers. So, with the coming of mobile power through the length and breadth of the land, into the small villages of the countryside, and into the big centers of manufacture, the areas of industry are extended. Power is no longer chained to the coal field. It can go where it will. It can be clean. It can be beautiful. It can be made a noble element in the landscape itself, and much of the heavy smoke cloud of the past can be dissipated. But power in industry is only part of a greater plan. There is much to be done. The heritage of the smoke age, the chaos and squalor brought about by the uncontrolled spread of industry, can have no place in the new face of our land. Not only must slums be cleared, but we must see that nothing ugly takes their place. The new communities must be planned in whole and in detail, with a full understanding of the practical, cultural, and religious needs of the new society. New buildings are arising, new shapes to meet the ever-developing needs of industry, but all simple, fresh, and clean. Out of steel, glass, and concrete, the architects and builders must make Britain a place where men and women can live and work with dignity. All the efficiencies and amenities of the 20th century are ready to be used. Great new dwelling places rise up, replacing the old chaos of the slums. Machinery and science can bring about better conditions of working and permit greater freedom for leisure, for getting away from the spheres of work into the open countryside. But these are but the beginnings of what must be done. What use is to be made of these newer and cleaner conditions? New surroundings are not sufficient in themselves. They must be utilized by a new people. A clean house can only be kept clean by a clean heart. The unseen power revealed and harnessed by scientific discovery may be not useful, but harmful. Everything depends on the character of the people for whose service it is available. The unseen Spirit of God is the greatest power of the new life. That Spirit is available for all who will accept it. It shall come to pass in the last days, I will pour forth of my Spirit upon all men. A new heart will I give you, and I will put my Spirit within you. If any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. All things are become new.
So was that religious? Did I miss it? Like, I'm not. I mean, there's that William Blake stuff at the end, but that's not really. And there's a kind of singing a hymnal, a hymn, kind of, but I don't know. So, I don't know. Okay. Let's get back to territory that we know. British informational films, we don't know those as well. But we do know Encyclopedia Britannica. It is a known quantity. And so here is Antibiotics. Enjoy.
This is a battlefield in man's total war against disease. For man has been fighting a total war against illness for centuries, a total war in every sense involving all peoples, a war in which man's weapons, both for defense and for attack, have been in the most part pitifully inadequate. Certain means for defense have existed now for some time, but it was only recently that we found what appeared to be a successful pattern for the production of offensive weapons against man's most terrifying enemy, the disease-causing bacteria. Here, man has locked his heaviest artillery against premature death, antibiotics. Thousands of lives were saved in war thanks to this killer of bacteria. Thousands of men spared crippling amputation. Wartime necessity speeded up research and production of antibiotics, and all of mankind benefited from it. This child, infected with impetigo, only a short time ago would have had to suffer for weeks, for medical science was almost powerless against the bacteria which cause skin infections of this sort. Now she will be healed in a few days. This student, hurt in play, infected afterwards, will be in school in a day or so with the help of these miraculous drugs. This young woman, now still breathing heavily under an attack of pneumonia, will be back with her family in a short time, thanks to the help from man's most successful microbe killers. What are these miraculous substances that kill bacteria?
We call them antibiotics. In Greek, anti means against. Bios stands for life. Antibiosis means that one living organism kills another. The term is not new. Observing nature, man has long known that each species must fight for its survival. The fittest survives and keeps the species strong and healthy. This natural antagonism keeps balance among the living creatures in nature. This is also true for the invisible world of microorganisms. The microscope reveals how one single-cell animal feeds on another. This is what antibiosis means. But feeding on the weaker or killing the opponent is only one way in which antagonism is expressed. There are others. Some microorganisms produce in their normal life cycles chemical substances that will prevent other microorganisms from crowding them. This is their way of expressing antibiosis. Well, now that we know what antibiosis means, we may be able to answer what antibiotics are. Antibiotics are chemical substances produced by microbes, which tend to inhibit the growth of other microorganisms and even kill them. In other words, antibiotics are not man-made drugs, but chemical substances produced by microorganisms.
Let's investigate this more closely in a biology laboratory.
This small dish will help to demonstrate the action of antibiotics. This dish is filled with a jelly, on the surface of which we grow a thin film of bacteria. These round bacteria are called staphylococci. These bacteria would multiply in the human body just as they multiply in the laboratory culture medium. An English physician, Dr. Alexander Fleming, interested in bacteriology, worked with a similar culture of staphylococci, but inadvertently, a speck of dust fell into the dish, carrying a mold belonging to the family of molds called penicillium. We have put such a mold into this dish ourselves. Now, while impurities often spoil the pure lab cultures and are thrown away, in this case, Dr. Alexander Fleming decided to investigate their action. Several days later, he noticed what we're seeing now, namely that clusters of bacteria had spread all across the dish, but left a ring of clear jelly around the penicillium mold. Evidently, the mold was doing something to the staphylococci that prevented them from spreading into this area. Dr. Fleming tried dish after dish of the same bacterial culture, always with the same results. The penicillium mold fought off the bacteria. Dr. Fleming described his observations in a paper that at the time failed to stir the scientific world. But in 1938, after the success of sulfa drugs had rekindled an interest in healing with chemicals, a group of Oxford scientists under Dr. Florey picked up Fleming's experiments. From Fleming's observations and from Florey's research team, and from the work that followed in England and America, a new science was born, the science of antibiotics. A new name was added to our vocabulary, penicillin. The name derived from the mold that stopped Fleming's staphylococci, and which belongs to the family of molds, penicillium. Physicians all over the world use penicillin today.
Mm-hmm. That's very good. Her temperature's dropping.
Fine.
For this type of blood poisoning, penicillin is a sure weapon. You won't need to worry. We'll have her out of here in a week.
Thank you, Doctor. Goodbye, honey.
Yes, doctors use penicillin with great success because now they have a potent killer of disease-causing bacteria, which will not endanger the cells of the human organism. Here is why this is so important. Processes by which an organism lives, our own organism or that of a microbe, are pretty much the same. Therefore, whatever would interfere with the chemistry of the microbe would in most cases also harm the human tissue. The problem is to find antibiotics that kill harmful bacteria but do not hurt the patient. Penicillin is such an antibiotic, harmless to the human and effective against many disease-causing bacteria, but not against all of them. New antibiotics are being developed, each of them interfering in some way or another with the life cycle of some harmful microorganism. In measles, for instance,
I think you're going to be all right, Kathy. It's the measles, all right.
Certainly looks like it.
If you'll give her this antibiotic 5 times a day, I think that will take care of the measles and those after effects that we worry about as well.
Well, that's fine. Thank you very much, Doctor.
I'll see you later, Kathy.
All right, honey, here we go.
Yes, antibiotics fight against many kinds of bacteria, each affecting some microorganisms in some special way. For instance, one group of antibiotics interferes with the ability of the microorganism to use up food to produce energy. While there is food in abundance all around the microorganism, its ability to use up the food is impaired. As a consequence, the microbe dies of starvation. Another group of antibiotics acts upon the thin membrane which envelops the cell and dissolves it. The microorganism practically falls apart under the attack. Penicillin belongs to a third group of antibiotics which probably interferes with the ability of the cell to reproduce. Bacteria and other simple microorganisms reproduce by dividing. A mature cell produces 2 identical cells by division. These cells mature and divide again, thus multiplying the species. In the presence of penicillin, cells of bacterial microorganisms grow to maturity, then continue to grow, but fail to divide. Eventually, the cells outgrow their own ability to live, and they die. With these miracle drugs obtained from molds, man has made giant strides toward a total victory over harmful bacteria. And because many molds have their origin in the soil, a new research specialist came into prominence, the soil specialist known as the mycologist. Mycologists develop strains of pure molds, yeasts, actinomycetes, and hosts of other microorganisms. They guide them through their short life cycle and try to influence their life habits in such a way that they produce chemicals which can be utilized for the benefit of man. Thousands of mold cultures like these are studied in research centers. Once the right kind of microorganism has been found, it is isolated and pure strains are reproduced. Next, the pure culture goes to the fermentation chemists. They multiply the microorganisms by the hundreds of millions by providing them with a place to spread and with the best food. This ensures rapid growth and encourages them to produce the desired antibiotics. Then other specialists take over until the pure drug is obtained. Antibiotics, the miracle drugs of our time. Indeed, they seem to be producing miracles. Here, a flock of chickens is getting antibiotics in their food. A spoonful of antibiotic powder in a ton of food will increase the growth of chickens by 10%. Similar experiments with pigs are showing even greater promise. Vitamin and antibiotic-enriched foods bring the pigs to marketing weight more rapidly. By feeding the piglets antibiotics milk, they are weaned away from the mother after 3 to 6 days. In this way, the productivity of the sow can be doubled and runts and orphan pigs bottle-fed to maturity. New industrial products have grown out of this experimental work. Millions of tons of chicken and swine feed fortified with vitamins and antibiotics are sold to successful farmers and poultry raisers all over the country. In a world of never-ending food problems, this is an important development. Thus, antibiotics produced by living microorganisms help mankind in the fight against hunger and in the fight against disease. Antibiotics give the doctor the heavy artillery to fight and conquer pneumonia, to fight successfully deadly meningitis, to attack various streptococcus infections. But all the heavy artillery against the onslaught of disease has not yet been produced. This hospital and many others are still filled with the sick for whom we have no antibiotic cure. Therefore, research cannot stop. The era of antibiotics has just begun. Every day we are coming closer to a time when we will understand more clearly what goes on inside the minute chemical workshops of the cells. Every day we are widening the horizons of knowledge in the quest for a better, healthier, and happier future of mankind.
Woo! Antibiotics. All right, what do we got? Okay, we all have things that give us joy. Certainly sharing 16mm films with you and gives me joy. What about you, Ayana?
Yeah, it's the best. That did not sound authentic at all.
Yeah. So I put her on the spot. Yeah, so this film is not made for me. It's Golf, A Special Kind of Joy. Enjoy. Hold on a second. I have to copy something over here. All right. Here we go.
Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, you'll see it, the special joy of the golfer. Did you ever wonder what it was and why it's there? Is there a special thrill in swinging a club and hitting a ball and trying to make it go where you want it to? Is there something exhilarating in the air, the sun, and the wind? Is there something special golfers get out of the beauty of their courses, the laughter of their friends, the joy of success, and the challenge of failure, the communion of shared pleasure? Well, golf's special kind of joy is all those and more, especially the joy of knowing that anyone, you too, can play. There will be the joy in the first awkward swing, but that won't last long. Almost immediately, you'll look for the joy of doing better and better and better. You'll want to know more about the game itself. The course, for instance, 18 holes, all different. And they're all laid out carefully and kept beautifully just to increase your joy in driving the ball from the tee, along the fairway, past all the hazardous challenges of sand and rough and often water, onto the green and into the cup in as few strokes as your skill permits. You'll want to understand your clubs, carefully engineered to help you make any kind of shot your playing situation calls for. Understanding your club starts with two basic principles. First, length of the club shaft, and loft, which is the angle of the face of the club head. It graduates by precise degrees from nearly vertical on the longer clubs down to a sharply backward angle on the shorter ones. Here's how length and loft will help you. Sometimes you'll want to drive the ball out with lots of distance. Here you'll need one of your longer clubs and a more upright face. Other times you'll need a shorter club with a more lofted face to get the ball up into the air, over some obstacle perhaps, and then roll only a short distance. How do the clubs do that for you? Well, remember your table tennis stroke. When you want to drive the ball straight back over the net, you hold your paddle square against the ball, square to the direction you want it to go. But when you want it to rise from the paddle for a high shot, you bring the paddle to the ball at an angle, again angling the paddle face in the direction you want the ball to go. That's the principle of loft built into the face of your clubs. Now about the length of your club shaft. In your golf swing, the club head travels in an arc. So with a long club, the arc is wide and long. With a shorter club, the arc is shorter. Usually the tempo of the swing is the same. So a longer club swinging through a longer arc in the same amount of time, obviously the club head is moving faster, hits the ball harder, and drives it farther. Good golfers, especially in tournament play, carry the maximum number of clubs the rules will allow, no more, seldom less. But you may not need all those in the beginning. Here are the basic groups. The wood clubs for the longest distances. Number 1 with the least loft. Number 3 with more loft. Number 4 with still more loft. And number 5, the most lofted of the commonly used woods. The long irons, numbers 2 and 3, also used for long distances. The middle irons, numbers 4, 5, and 6, for medium distances. And the short irons, numbers 7, 8, and 9, for very short distances and high lofts. In addition, there are 2 special clubs for special purposes. The pitching wedge for high pitch shots from off the green, and the sand wedge for bunker play. And of course, you'll need a putter for those short shots on the green, where you don't want loft, nothing but roll. Let's watch the play of one hole and see how these clubs will work for you. Golfers need a game plan for every hole. This one is 395 yards from tee to green, but there are challenges here. Out there about 225 yards, the fairway angles sharply so you can't see the green. It's called a dogleg. Woods on either side and sand bunkers all down the left side. Potential trouble. Around the dogleg, it's another 175 yards to the green with more sand bunkers waiting. A good cautious golfer will try to place his first shot far enough out in the dogleg that he could see the green. Another shot to get on the green, then 2 putts. Let's watch him try it. He uses his number 1 wood to reach the middle of the dogleg. And he made it. Now, a long iron should get him on the green. But he hit behind the ball, losing distance, leaving a short pitch to the green. Now he's lying 3, but he putted past the cup, so a short one back. And he's into the cup in 5, 1 over par, a bogey. Not bad, considering the challenges of the deep woods and all those sand bunkers. Every hole on every course you play will have its own personality, waiting there saying, "Try me." And as you respond, you'll know that although your clubs are an important part of your golfing equipment, a more important part is what you build for yourself, your swing, the way you personally swing a golf club. A golf swing is a very personal thing, as personal as fingerprints. everyone should build his own, slowly and carefully. It takes time, patience, practice, and directed learning. You'll start by getting your body used to unfamiliar movements with new concepts of personal control. Concepts that will help you understand what experts have discovered in laboratory studies over many years. Scientific details of the swing movement. So you'll understand why you need patience, practice, and directed learning. You'll want to feel control of all these concepts all through your body as your muscles develop the habits of a golf swing. Putting them all together will become an exciting experience because you'll be learning about you as you build a swing especially for you, an individual swing, only yours. And soon, with patience and practice and coaching, you'll have your own swing, especially yours. And that's when the fun really starts. You won't wait until you have a perfect swing, or even perhaps a good one. You'll take whatever swing you have out on the course and enjoy it. And that's the way it should be, because part of golf's fun is this. While it's great fun to compete with other people, it's also fun to compete with yourself. And golf provides this kind of challenge with a unique system called par. Every hole has its own par, predetermined by yardage and difficulty. For example, a short hole, about 150 yards, would be a par 3 hole. Excellence says the tee shot should reach the green, then 2 putts. A longer hole, about 325 yards, would be rated a par 4. In other words, an expert golfer is expected to reach the green in 2 strokes, then 2 putts. The really long holes, like about 500 yards, are par 5. 3 strokes to the green, and then 2 putts to the cup. But if par is a theoretical standard of excellence, in golf you can beat those standards occasionally. Say on a par 5 you have a 4, 1 under par. That's called a birdie. Or perhaps a 3, 2 under par. That's called an eagle. And of course, there's always the slim chance of a hole-in-one, a shot from the tee right into the cup. Here it is, one of golf's ultimate thrills. That's perfection. Par for the course is the total of all the pars for the 18 holes. But some golfers, often those who have the most fun, will have their own par system based on how well they feel they should be playing, how well their own personal swing is developing. This fellow, for instance, even though this hole is rated par 3, his own personal par may be 4. She is shooting for the rated par, a 3. And she'll make it. But he's shooting for his own par, a bogey 4, and he made it.
The concept of handicap adds even more fun to the game. The handicap system recognizes that people with different levels of skill and physical ability, whether family or friends, often want to play together without losing the fun of competition. So a skilled player is given a small number of strokes deducted from his score, while a less skilled player gets a larger number of strokes deducted from his score. So they can play together or enjoy league or tournament play, even with experts, and compete on an even basis.
Hey, Pop, you shot an 82 and I shot a 97.
Subtracting the handicaps, and guess who has to buy the ice cream? So for all your life, You'll be competing with your own handicap, with yourself. You can enjoy the friends you're playing with more because you're all competing against par. And part of golf's special joy is doing it together. Even if doing it together means helping each other look for a lost ball. So you'll keep on practicing, keep on challenging yourself, and you won't have to get out on the course to do it. You can keep your muscles remembering no matter what the weather. You can keep in touch with your clubs every day, indoors at home or at school, and still enjoy some of golf's competitive fun. Practice, read, and above all, enjoy. For a while, everything seems to go just great. You really start feeling those special joys, but then something goes wrong. You seem to have slipped back from that plateau of skill you reached. Everything feels the same, but the results are different, and you don't know why. But don't try to figure it out all alone. Your instructor can tell you quickly which of your control factors slipped away, and that's not unusual. The best professionals go back to their instructors when they get into this kind of trouble, and you should too. He can start you moving on up to the next plateau of skill. The special joy is yours again. All the special joys. Long walks without even thinking of walking, with nature all around you. The joy of thrilling achievement. Of admiration from special friends. Because wherever you go, anywhere in the world, you'll find a golf course and people who understand. And you'll have your swing with you, your personal swing, if you start building it now.
Hold on. All right. Sorry about that. So what I did accidentally was I set up the show. I pulled out the flash drive that had all the films on it. Then I put it back in without restarting OBS. And so it was like, I can't find anything. It's like, come on, man. Let's see. Yeah, that was a special kind of joy there, boy. Thomas Talbot says, do you have any potty training films on 16 millimeter? I do. One is made for the developmentally disabled, called I'm Ready, Mom, Are You? And it's less about the mechanics of it and more about the fact that, how do you toilet train someone who has developmental difficulties. And it's all right. For some reason, it has penguins on roller skates in it, which is just weird. And I do have some other ones that deal with potty stuff, but they're mostly made for nurses, about colostomy bags, etc. So we're not going to watch that at lunch. And I don't think we would watch that later as well, like an after dark, all the poop films that we have. So thanks for joining us today. Appreciate you coming to the archive, and we will keep you posted on what we're doing. The big thing that we're doing now is we're going to try to move one rack over so that we can continue shelving, and then we have a bunch of stuff set up other places. But if you like what you saw, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, subscribe. Those are all great ways. And then there's Ayana's thumb.
Yeah. Like, subscribe,
yeah.
comment.
And here's something at the I just acquired, which is a sensor that monitors temperature and humidity to see if we are maintaining a climate-controlled space here. And I don't know, we're good on temperature, not so much on humidity, so we'll have to figure that out. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, you can also donate via the Super Thanks button, or going to ko-fi.com/abgeeks or patreon.com/abgeeks, or you can watch all the films that we put online. Like, watch all of them, all 11,000 of them. Do that. And everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you on Monday. Take care. Okay, well, one quick thing. Would be neat to see a tour of your new archive someday. Go to the beginning of the show, and you will see that we did that. Everybody wants to call you, it's Ayana. So spell your name.
Ayyanah. Yes.
You got a lot of vowels there, lady.
Yeah. I can add some more, honestly.
You got a lot of vowels. Anyways, yes, we will see you on Monday. Everybody take care. Thank you also for the kind comments yesterday, and we will see you soon. Bye.